I mean, am I crazy? Am I crazy? When I go to heaven, I'm saying, number 1, did Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss kiss? Number 2, why do the golden tools break? Hello, I'm Katherine, and one thing about me is I eat, sleep, and breathe Animal Crossing. And I know we just met, you have to take my word for it, but I'm gonna say something pretty big, okay? Are you in the right headspace to receive? I'm really putting myself out there, but I do come today before you, an Animal Crossing expert. And if you don't believe me, please stick around and let me prove it. I have so much to say about this game. So we're gonna start with the basics. I'm going to rank all of the main titles. This includes Population Growing for the GameCube, Wild World for the DS, City Folk on the Wii, New Leaf on the 3DS, and of course, most recently, New Horizons on the Switch. Of course, I have my personal favorites, but when creating my ranking, I tried to keep it as objective as I could, mostly trying to consider things like the controls, the aesthetic, the music, coziness or lack thereof, not naming names yet, coming for you. I feel I have a good judge of these measures, seeing as I have approximately 10,000 hours in each of these titles combined. I am going to start the project eventually of calculating my hours in Animal Crossing, but let me tell you, when it's close, if not over 10,000 hours, I'm not exaggerating. There are days when I'd play it from when I woke up to when I went to bed. You hear other people calling themselves an Animal Crossing expert. I haven't heard it. So I'm not exactly bagging bitches this way, but that's just because y'all don't know about me yet. Anyway, so sit back, relax, get cozy. Leprous. My melody. Let's get started. Okay, so in order to keep my lowest ranking a little hype, I'm building FOMO and hype around my lowest ranking, so I hope you understand. In this video, I'm going to start with my 4th best game, and then we'll go to 3rd and 2nd, then I will tell you my last place, then I will tell you 1st place. If you like this or you like the vibes, let me know. You can also let me know by liking and subscribing or commenting or following me on my other social media. I'm really excited to really start word vomiting onto the internet, especially my thoughts about Animal Crossing. So if you're into that, I hope you stick around. I'm very happy to have met you, and I really hope you enjoy my correct opinions about Animal Crossing. Okay, starting off in 4th place as the 2nd least best game. Does that make sense? Least best. Yeah, Wild World. I know. Hear me out. Wild World is a great game, and it's a great Animal Crossing game. It's cozy, it's nostalgic for many of us, including me. It was my first title, and even putting that aside, I think that of all of the Animal Crossing games, it is incredibly lackluster. When I'm playing it, I continuously feel this unsatisfying, almost a feeling of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I love the mystique of Wild World. I love feeling like there are all these little corners that I may not have discovered before. I remember the first time I went into the cafe and you see the stage, what's gonna go on there. You get coffee from Brewster. He's so mysterious, but you can tell he's kind and gentle, but very reserved. I'm wanting to say shy, but I don't think he's shy necessarily. I think he takes maybe a bit longer than average to warm up to any given being. Anyway, they made a huge misstep, in my opinion, taking out holidays. I understand what they were trying to do. I also don't know why they would try to do that instead of localizing the game, like they'd already done in Population Growing and then did in all the other titles after Wild World. And the controls of this game irritate me to no end. I don't know, I haven't really heard other people talk about this, I don't think, but the swapping between the buttons of the console and the touchscreen, I can't handle it. Especially that little graphic that comes up every time and the game stutters. It has to take a beat to switch between them. I know it's on the humble, beautiful DS. And I love my beautiful little pink DS. Bless its heart. So let's talk about some specific pros of this game. Like I said, the graphics, voice style, overall style, and vibe of the game, Wild World really feels like this warm hug, cozy blanket. Even if you didn't play the game as a kid, I think it just carries that quality in the style of graphics and the absolutely stunning soundtrack. So City Folk has the same soundtrack, and one thing I really love, and I feel like helps highlight the nostalgic, cozy, brilliant quality of Wild World's music, is that in City Folk they made adjustments, clear adjustments in my opinion, to the soundtrack to make it sound less pixely. Does that make sense? Like Stardew Valley, 8-bit. I don't really know much about video game development, but yeah, it's more smooth, less crunchy in City Folk. And I think that difference really suits both games. Specifically in Wild World though, the difference in the crunchiness makes it just nostalgic. It's really hard to talk about Wild World and not use the word nostalgic. Normally, I think that is a strange, subjective, irrelevant argument, to be honest. However, in this case, like I said, even if you didn't play it as a kid, I think Wild World still really has this coming home to yourself, getting snug in bed quality to it. And I think that is such a feat of video game development to create that vibe for veteran players and new players alike. The villager interactions in this game are potentially top tier, unless you really fuck with the really mean villagers and population growing. They say some actually kind of messed up stuff. And it's a great time, but it's a wonder. And that does kind of lend itself to maybe why Wild World feels so sucked dry of zest. It's cozy, but it's kind of bland, like plain toast. Where's the butter? Where's the peanut butter? Where's anything? It's just crunchy bread. I don't know. Love the separate screens and having the sky on the top screen of the DS. Being able to see the whole sky and really feel immersed in whatever weather is happening, or the meteor shower, or just the constellations and the beautiful stars at night. Again, it just adds to that really lovely quality of Wild World. I also love and will always yearn for the, putting the sky on the top means that your character's on the bottom. You can control them and move them around with your finger or the stylus. I love that immersive, interactive, personal feeling, like I'm actually in the game, like actually controlling the character. There's something about the physicalness of the touchscreen as opposed to moving with the D-pad or the cross pad or whatever. I mean, if you're playing Wild World on the 3DS, which it is compatible with, you're probably using the circle pad. That's, I would say, the most comfortable way to play. Back to what I said about the controls, they are so annoying. I like that there's both options, but I just am really turned off by the clunkiness of it. It really feels like you have to choose one, even though so much of the game has different parts that lends itself to using different styles of interacting with the device. I don't know, but I really will always miss that. I love that about Wild World. Then you have things like the Golden Axe trading event, which if you've never heard of, I would recommend looking it up, but it's this really complex, delicious, really interesting trading event. I don't know why it's called that, but basically it's how you get the golden axe, and you have to do a series of trades, sort of like you start with a paperclip and then you wind up with your golden axe. It involves turnips and Wendell and Nook and Sahara, and there's all these different branches that it can go down the storyline. I've never completed it. I've started it a couple times, but I always wind up time traveling and killing the red turnip, whatever. I'm currently in my 100% towns that I just created. I'm cracking down on this golden axe trading event. I'm trying to make the golden axe trading event my bit. Anywho, shout out Boondocks. Some of the villager interactions are so long. They ask you questions, they get upset, they emote afterward. You get pinged every day by every villager, so there's lots of tasks, there's lots of interaction with them, getting to know them, giving them things, them giving you presents. They do that a lot, especially when they ping you. Sometimes they're just like, here, have this. I'm like, okay, thank you. One of my favorite things, listen, open your ears. Are you listening? This is really important to me. One of my favorite things about Wild World, it's one of my favorite things to do, is to equip and unequip inside. Do you hear me? What a concept. I know. I'm an organized girly. I love organizing my pockets in the game. And then, you're in Nooks or something and you're like, and I'm gonna go fishing, so then I put my fishing rod there. Or if I go inside and I'm holding my umbrella, but I need to put it away, I can just unequip it. In the other games, are you hearing me? You have to go outside to unequip your umbrella and then go back inside to put it away. Criminal behavior. I do not fuck with that, and I want them to bring it back. It's like my number one thing. If I made a video of my wish list for the next Animal Crossing title, number one is equip inside. Thank you. Please. Lastly, Wild World, to put it lightly, feels like a punishment. I mean, they basically cut out everything fun. Holidays, grass. I'm gonna say that again. No. Okay. We're gonna have beef. About to have beef with Lapras. It went from 15 villagers to 8. Only 8 villagers. Why? What did we do wrong? Why'd you take away 7 of them? See that quick math? It's really quick. Wow. Also, don't mind me, I'm gonna be like girl lunching over here. Various little, whatever, seeds and cheese and yogurt. So for some reason, Wild World felt like a punishment. But they did rectify the situation. It's hard to believe, but they did. In my opinion, they did. They said, you know what? We see where we messed up, where we dropped the ball, let you down a little. We made something even better. Hope you like it. It's called City Folk. XOXO. Nintendo. New tagline for them. Hit me up, Nintendo. Can't use it otherwise. I thought of it. So yes, in third place is City Folk. I honestly find City Folk really charming, fun, bright, round, neon version. Like the little characters and all the trees, everything just feels really squishy and chibi and just cute. I think the color palette is really nice. The graphics in general, I really like. I think they hold up. Whereas Population Growing is like blurry by comparison, and can you really compare to consoles that came out 10 years apart? More than 10 years apart? I mean, no. And for what it is, we'll get there. You know what? We're gonna get there. See, this is what my brain does. I'm trying to keep it structured and keep myself focused. But when it comes to Animal Crossing, I'm like, this and this and this and this. Maybe someday I'll do like just an info dump style. Anyway, City Folk is basically what I want from Animal Crossing. They put back holidays. They still were pushing this like desert thing though by integrating grass deterioration. Why did they do that? Grass deterioration bugs the hell out of me, and especially because in City Folk it just feels so, they like jacked that up. They said all the way grass deterioration, like you walk on it, boom, you just lost a layer, all gone. We're gonna make this place a whole desert. Like, not why, Nathan, for you? Feels like a Nathan for you plot. Not that I know anything about that. I don't know why. Anyway, but that's kind of what I mean. Like, questionable decisions in an Animal Crossing game made my brain, the synopsises connected to Nathan for you. So just, that's kind of how I feel about grass deterioration. So, pros of City Folk. The biggest one, the Mac Daddy, the obvious, the city. Beautiful, she's perfect. She could be more. She could be more. She's a little lacking, but that's okay. There's stuff that makes up for it. Even just the simple fact, the simple mechanism of being able to enter and exit a building to keep cycling new villagers that are in the courtyard of the city. I'm a big fan of that. That's kind of what I like about Animal Crossing, is like the re-rolling and the possibilities and the different villagers and all the billions, trillions of combinations that you could get when you roll a town in any of the games. Anyway, just being able to do that, talk to each one of them, then go inside, come back out, talk to a new host of villagers. It scratches something in my brain really nicely. I like the simplicity of Kick sitting on the stoop. It feels really realistic, like and with his Cockney accent, and he's just like, I'll just whip this up for you real quick. You know, he's on his Andy Dwyer grind, and I respect that. I love the feeling of possibilities and mysteries in the city, like with the traffic cones and waiting for Rossetti's to open up. I have never seen that. That has not happened to me, but it will someday, and I eagerly await. Even Katrina's little alcove is so convincing. It's so spooky. I love the ivy and the dark colors, and it just, you can almost miss it. I just think something about it, they just really hit the nail on the head there. Getting into Red's store, even the possibility of it being frillered instead of shrunk at the marquee is enough to keep me going and showing up. Oh, Finny is showing up. Even the Serena Easter egg on the fountain, I love that. Having a brick and mortar Gracie store. Yes, love that. They brought that back in New Leaf. And then just rammed that all the way into the center of the earth. I don't know if I'll ever see it again, but I love that. And I love that she can sometimes show up. So you see what I'm saying? There's lots of different possibilities that the city holds. Okay, so other pros about City Folk outside of the city. I feel like it's the most forgiving for the clothes. I love the clothes in City Folk. I love the way they sit on the character. I think it's because it sits kind of like a dress. I like dresses. I wear dresses a lot. I just like the way it looks on our little round, little squat character. They're so perfect. Really looks like Animal Crossing to me. Shout out the Kiwi shirt, the BB shirt. Is turnip dress in New Horizons? I don't think it is. Or maybe it's not called that. I don't think it is. That is so Animal Crossing. What if we took this perfect thing, like the froggy chair? What if we took this perfect thing and just burned it to cinders? It's like, why? It frustrates me. Sometimes I'm just like, the questions that keep you up at night. Things that make you go, why'd you do that? Anyway, love the layout possibilities in City Folk. There's so many nooks and crannies and valleys and alleys and things that can happen. I just love it with the cliffs, the way they can open up, the possibilities. Sometimes the waterfalls are angled in this really stunning way. I love the angled waterfalls and I miss them. Let's have a moment for the angled waterfalls. Another thing of beauty that they said, no, what if we made it worse? Maybe the games were made by the creators of, oh my God, what are they called? In The Good Place, the architects. It's like Froyo, you know? It's like, what if we took ice cream, this like perfect, beautiful thing, and made it worse? And like just a little bit worse. They hit the nail on the head with that joke, so good. But it really applies to Animal Crossing, where they're just like, wait, no. Wait, no. What if we just took the froggy chair out? What if we just didn't put it back? What if we just didn't include it? Am I cynical to think that it was like to get hubbub about it? How would they know? How would you know? Maybe it was a plant. I'm getting weird. Let's move on. Town progress can be made in this game by making donations to Pelly in the town hall. You can get a aforementioned fountain, and if you throw an axe in there, Serena will come out. Good luck getting anything from her. She's a fickle lady, but she's beautiful and I love it. Because you could just get the fountain and never discover that. Never throw an axe in there. There's so many people who have never thrown an axe into the fountain in City Folk. They don't even have the fountain if they haven't done the donations. It's gorgeous. I love it. You can enjoy the game at any level. That's how it should be. That's called accessibility. Eventually, you get a choice between a lighthouse and a windmill. I chose a lighthouse, my City Folk game. I only have one, because it is one town per console. It hurts every time, doesn't it? Anyway, I recently got a Wii U, so now I have a second City Folk town. And I'm gonna get a windmill in that one. Anyway, stay tuned for that. And shout out to how they adjusted the soundtrack to fit City Folk more. It's not as crunchy, it's not as pixely, it's not as like that 8-bit. It's much more smooth, polished. I love that detail, you know? They did essentially copy and paste Wild World, but they put so much into City Folk extra. Like they put the holidays back and more. I think it's beautiful. And I think that City Folk ultimately suffers from a bad console. If it was on something else, or if they ported it to Switch, or whatever, anything. Like if they did anything, I'd be happy. Yeah, and I think that City Folk does not get enough credit for that. Again, I think it's a victim of the console that it is unfortunately on. You have 4 separate houses to choose from. I like that they're randomly placed and you can kind of choose based on whatever vibe you want. If I remember correctly, fishing has always felt easiest to me in City Folk. We all have different games where we're better at fishing in one than the other. Everyone's different. Say it with me this time. Our differences are what make us beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's something to be said for that. Because City Folk gets a lot of hate, but it's easiest to fish in my opinion, to me. I love when they lose their key and you have to fish it out of the river. That's just such a cute little fetch quest. I love a fetch quest. You can wave far away. What a cute little, they just put in so many nuggets that the average player wouldn't ever discover unless they're just clicking around and doing stuff, like, or looked it up. Otherwise you would never know. I just think that I think that's cool. I think this game is the perfect title for a like sort of dailies player for Animal Crossing, which is technically how the game is intended to be played, but I just think City Folk suits itself really easily to that. It's very easy to transition into and to transition out of, and the other game's kind of harder, or like I have to force it a little more. just something about City Folk that I'm just like, no, I'm done. Oh, I'm done now. It's really satisfying. I like it. I don't really get that from the other games. So shout out to City Folk for that. The controls are much more worth the effort than Wild World in my opinion, because there's actually things to like do and like get and like do in the video game, in my opinion, in City Folk rather than in Wild World. So it's just kind of like there's no motivation for me to even try to reign victorious over the controls, you know? So I think that City Folk is worth it. It is. And the Wii is not that bad. You know what's worse? The Wii U. I know we know that, but it's worse. I can't believe it's worse. Anyway, how do they keep doing that? There's a trend here. I'm noting it when I see it, okay? We're both noting it. We're seeing it. We're sitting with it even. And it's interesting. I think there might be something there. You get a flag outside your house when you fully upgrade it. I think that's what the reward is. A flag. It's sick. I don't even know what to tell you. It's just sick. I love the flag. Thank you. Just ultimately, it's a fixed Wild World. What's not to love? Here's what I wrote. In my opinion, they never should have taken holidays out, and unfortunately, City Folk's similarities to Wild World, combined with the Wii's clunky controls, it was set up to fail. But now we have the benefit of hindsight. Yes, that's so true, past Catherine. And also critical analysis. And even more titles to compare these against. So we can move on from the disappointment that I think City Folk was. And I think that's valid. Let's talk about the cons. I can only imagine. I wasn't around for it. I didn't play City Folk until much later, but I can only imagine. And I mean, it did happen to me. I played Wild World and then I opened City Folk, and to see that it was like essentially the same was really jarring and like uncomfortable almost. I didn't like it. It was really strange because I feel like each Animal Crossing title is marked by significant changes or aesthetic improvements or, you know, feedback from the community to make the quality of life functions better. Don't distract me. Talking about Animal Crossing. I need to eat more so I can drink my soda, and I really want my soda, and then I'll start getting what better way to be when talking about Animal Crossing? That being said, the point past Catherine made was we're adults. I don't know if you were then, but at least you are now, likely. I mean, you really should only be over 18 if you're watching this video, but anyway. And even a child, I feel, could recognize that City Folk is its own thing, and I don't want to keep calling it a fixed Wild World, but I really think that it's essential to bring that into the conversation about City Folk, because I don't think they get enough credit for what they did fix and listen to. And now it's like Wild World, but better graphics if you fuck with that. I really do understand if you prefer the Wild World graphics. I get it. I like it. Again, we talked about that. And now it's on the television, so it's like bigger, and it's just, I guess I understand when I think about it from like, I could see people being bitter about that or jaded. I think City Folk created a lot of resentment and bitterness in the Animal Crossing player base, unfortunately. I account that to the Wii. So the biggest con for City Folk is that it's on the Wii. If it had New Leaf controls or Switch controls, whatever, if it wasn't the Wiimote, like the whole thing, I think we would talk a lot more positively about it. Unfortunately, we can't change the past, can we? We can only change the future, and we can only control what we can control. And like, objectively, if you have negative things to say about Wild World, then and you're not also saying positive things about City Folk, I have trouble understanding how those coexist. Please enlighten me. I'd love to open a dialogue. This is no judgment. This is just like, I'm just kind of finally talking about this game, like in depth, in a serious way. These are my initial thoughts, and this is just my first video on it. So, you know, there's lots more to unfold, and I hope that you will hold space for that. And I hold space for that for you too in the comments and in any of our discussions on it. Okay. The second biggest con, probably, like, it cannot help that it's on the Wii, so I almost don't even really want to count that, but it has to be said. But the biggest con of City Folk is the grass deterioration. I want that to be the worst part of City Folk, but unfortunately, I've been beating around the bush. But the con of City Folk is the absolutely nerfed, sucked dry, hollow, whatever you even want to call it, villager dialogue. It's bad, y'all. In City Folk, the interactions with villagers suck. They fall flat. They say the same things over and over and over. Each personality has like 4 things that they can say, and it seems like there's a 5th rare thing or like question sequence, but you only get it I mean, sometimes, like, so rarely. Can't emphasize that enough. Even like the font of the text for the NPCs and villagers in this game, I don't like. It's unsettling to me. I feel like I'm in a Word document. I don't know. There's just something really off-putting about it to me that is hard to dismiss. I don't know. I can't. When I'm playing the game, it has an uncanniness to me. The villagers are a little uncanny, a little liminal, honestly. Like, in your interactions with them, it's almost like in this game, they know that they're video game characters, and you know that they know that, like, you're playing, and, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of meta, honestly. That's what I get from the villager interactions in City Folk. Maybe maybe that's a lot, but, like, I don't know. Let me know. I hate it. I don't like it, to the point where I don't really interact with the villagers anymore. It's just too disappointing. It, like, hurts. I don't like it. I'm not losing sleep over it, but it's disappointing as an Animal Crossing lover, die-hard fan, to just have such an integral part of the game fall so flat and just be like, why? Why? I just don't know. And it's clear that I guess they didn't spend as much time on the dialogue, and it's a real shame. It's a real shame. I'd also like to say that when it comes to the controls of City Folk, I actually have never, even with all the hours that I sunk into City Folk back in the day, I never used the nunchuck. I didn't know to use it. I didn't even think about it. We had one. Anyway, so I only just now started using the nunchuck, and it's really a game changer. I still think Wild World's controls are worse. They're just clunky. It doesn't work with the game. It just makes it's a hindrance for me. I can't get a flow going. I guess I had a flow as a kid with the stylus, but it's just, I don't know. Anyway, maybe I have rose-colored glasses when it comes to City Folk. There's clearly something that I really like about the game, so I tried to keep it objective, but I really do think City Folk is third, which brings us to second place. In second place is Population Growing. Yup, this is classic Animal Crossing. We're talking good, solid, complete game. When you buy a copy of Animal Crossing Population Growing for the GameCube, you are buying a complete game. In my opinion, Wild World does not feel complete. It should have holidays. City Folk does not feel complete. Honestly, because of the villager dialogue, in my opinion, grass deterioration, it's just not right. They really messed up with the grass deterioration mechanic in that game. New Horizons is not a complete game. Population Growing, complete. Like, this is Animal Crossing. If you play one game, honestly, I've never thought about that. If I was like said to somebody, if you could play one game, because I feel like it would be different from person to person, but I do think that the vibe and game structure, everything about Population Growing, honestly, is just Animal Crossing. And is that because it's the first game? Maybe, but I think they also nailed it, even considering the cons of Population Growing. That's how strong the game is. It holds up so well. And if you've never heard of it, or you've never seen it, you've never seen gameplay of it, I'm gonna put some up now, and you will see that it is strikingly old. I couldn't think of a word, but honestly, it's just old. I mean, the graphics are fine, and they are nostalgic, and they do have a nice quality to them, like an Animal Crossing quality that I think is what we want from the game. I remember Swimming Bird saying that in a video once, that like Animal Crossing is not known for its amazing graphics, but I think it's kind of part of it. It's part of the charm. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Foreshadowing. You have no idea what I'm gonna say. So I keep calling it a complete game, and I stand by that. And you may be thinking, what about the island? And I thought that too initially, that that's a feature of the game that requires connecting a Game Boy Advance via the Game Boy Advance cable to the GameCube. And then Captain will show up and you can go to this different island. There's a little villager there, a unique island villager. Is there foreign fruit? I've never been because I don't have a Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy Advance cable. Have not put out a call to anyone I know IRL yet. I'm going to, because I really would like to experience that. I've seen people play on the island numerous times. There's still enough that I don't really know clearly. I don't think that you have to have that feature in order to completely enjoy population growing for what it is, what it should be as a video game, as a consumer purchasing a product. It's just an extra feature that they used to promote buying multiple consoles, having multiple consoles. You know, I get it, whatever. I feel like it's something I'm missing out on, but it's not essential to the game, I don't think. Maybe I'll change my mind when I play it for the first time and I'm like, no, this is essential. And I know that it can affect gameplay and like change the game, but not enough, I don't think, for it to be considered like unfair. And I think this is a really good execution, how to have little added things that aren't required to enjoy the game. They just add something more and special. And like, if you have a Game Boy Advance and you're like, okay, sick, now I can go to this island, or like, oh, when I go to school I should ask if what's his face has a Game Boy Advance I can use, or something like that, you know what I mean? You're like, I'm just incredibly turned off by forced gameplay features, and I'm really happy with the execution of the island, so I just wanted to point that out. Pros of population growing. Specifically, the thing about population growing is that it's so thought out, and the idea for it and behind it and the inspiration behind it, like the real life story and the creator of the game. Where was I going with all of that? That was like a really long list. I don't know. I just think that the central idea and purpose of Animal Crossing population growing is kept in mind throughout the whole game and like everything you do. Animal Crossing creator Katsuya Iguchi was inspired to create the game when he experienced in his life moving away from home, being away from family and everything that's familiar, you know, starting a job, starting a new life somewhere else. His struggles with that, and he created a place that could feel like home in many different ways to many different people. Because of that, I think they took really good care, like I said, to weave that through every element of the game, in my opinion. And then Wild World comes around and they just, you know what, it is still in Wild World. That feeling, I feel, is a thread that does continue the idea, but I feel that it stops getting like kept in mind during the development of the game and woven into everything. There's certain characters and things that just maintain that, like Brewster. I mean, he was introduced in Wild World, so in my opinion, there's always something to do in population growing, and that is a huge pro for the game. Some of this is just lack of quality of life, and so there's a lot of work that goes into, like, for example, just getting fossils checked out. You have to run around, find them, and it's fairly hard in this game. Then acquire writing paper, attach the fossil to the paper, address it to the museum, and mail it away. The next day it comes back, you receive it, you open the letter, you take the present out, you open the present. There's a high chance that it is a fossil you already have. So then you sell the fossils. Great way to make money. It's an incredible symbiosis, but it lends itself to there being lots to do, and I find it really satisfying. I love checking the dump. The villagers have a dialogue option where you can ask them basically for fetch quests anytime. They will often say no, but there's always some that have, I think there's like probably always one or two villagers that have a task like assigned to them at any given time. But then sometimes those fetch quests get really layered, and you go to Pinky and say, you need help, and she's like, can you get my glasses case? And then you have to go to Daisy because she lent it to Daisy, but Daisy lent it to Hank, but Hank gave it to Cupcake. You know, so then you are going to each of these people and they send you to the next. And then you go back to the original person and you're like, here's your glasses case, and you get a reward, and it's just really satisfying, except when the reward is writing paper, which kind of sucks, but also you need it to send fossils. So I don't know, it all just everything kind of lends itself to other stuff, and it all flows together really well. And I love the little events and just the clear thought that was put into this game. Like summer campers, you can play games with them. I've had this camper who keeps like telling me a story about how she was camping with her friends. One's a bear and one's a wolf. They're unnamed, but she said their species, which is interesting. Then she's like, I'm gonna tell you the story. I kind of remember it, but also, she doesn't at all. Anyway, and you can get exclusive items. It's really interesting. It's really long. I love some of the question chains that you can get into with the villagers, especially when you have to like solve the maze. I guess that one's a little annoying, but it's still cool that it exists. I kind of wish it didn't happen as often as it does, and wasn't like as confusing, but anyway, it's interactive. It's there. It's sign of care that they put into the game. It makes the villagers feel even more, it gives them even even more depth, even more personality and background. The relationships and like lore that you can develop with your villagers in this game, in your own head and in the game, like they seem to sort of remember stuff, or I don't know how it's like programmed in, and I don't know anything about game development, so I'm not sure what words to use, but it just seems like the friendship system in population growing is the most fleshed out, most in-depth in any of the games, I think. Having the lake, having fireworks reflect off the lake, you cannot see the sky in population growing, so just having that function of like a way to see, they're like, let's put fireworks in the game, but wait, there's no sky. So they're like, what can we do? We'll build this big lake. The events that happen around the lake, Mortimer coming into the plaza, is it called that in that game? Anyway, he goes to the wishing well, or to the tree for events like on Father's Day. He gave me a locomotive model. There was like graduation day, I think, and I got a tailored model. Is that right? It makes it feel really like this is a town and they have traditions, and like these things would still be going on even if I wasn't there. Yeah, guys, I just hit on something so huge. That is an element of Animal Crossing that I feel is imperative to the very fiber of the game, like the meat of the game. Population growing has that out the wazoo. An example I'm thinking of is the sports fair, the fall sports fair, where you show up and they're like already playing tug of war, or the early morning aerobics, and they're just like already there and they've already started. You weren't required to start that activity, and like, I guess it's true. I mean, I don't know. That's also true of like Toy Day. Like, it technically doesn't really start until like you get there and start like delivering presents, and then that makes things progress. But even though they are already like kind of celebrating, but they're really just like milling around. They're not like participating necessarily. Although in New Horizons, they did add like the villagers really participate much more in events and like emote or throw confetti or whatever's relevant. And it's really satisfying. Incredible upgrade. We'll get there. I totally lost my train of thought, but the essence in population growing, that feeling of like the town would go on without you, I think is part of it. There's something there, besties. Let's put a pin in that one as well. Thanks. The music of the game is iconic. It's a real toss-up for me, like which that I prefer of all of the soundtracks, because again, they all bring something different. They all match their game well, but different. Like, I don't know, you know, they can be hard to compare, but Population Growing is really a standout soundtrack. Shout out to like the 1 p.m. hour, I think, where it has like cat meows and dogs barking. Just what a detail, what a silly little thing that they were just like, what if we did that? And then they were probably like, yeah, that's like so silly and fun. Let's do it. And then it's like they lost all their silliness after that, you know? Another big pro for a lot of people, staggering amounts. This is always in the conversation around Animal Crossing, and it's entering our conversation about Animal Crossing now. And that is, well, I guess I already mentioned it, but we're really going to talk about it now. And that is the meanness of the characters in this game. Like I said, they can say some downright dumb things to you. If you have body image issues, honestly, there's some things that they could say that like I feel could trigger someone. It could put the thought in their head or just remind them of something somebody else has said, you know? It's not 2001 anymore. It's a very long time ago. It's a product of its time. I still don't understand how some of those things would fly, but at any rate, they're in the game. They are hysterical. I think it's best to approach the game with just like, to be kind of open-minded and just see what kind of crazy shit they're gonna say. Sort of like when you're watching Glee and you're just waiting for Sue Sylvester to open her mouth and say something absolutely batshit and like criminal, honestly, potentially. I think we could agree, but it's like fine because she said it, because it's Sue, you know what I mean? And that's how Sue sees it. Like, it's just, it's Sue. It's kind of like that with the villagers in this game. I shit you not. Sometimes I am taken so aback. Maybe I'm like a fragile snowflake or something, but it's just shocking to see no, like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, media training in the game. Like, the script is so wild, some of the things they say. Anyway, it's the most significant in this game, and a lot of people miss it and really like it and think that it's a special part of the game. It's a really contrasting element to the cozy, friendly, welcoming, coming home, beautiful, common trope. And then, but in the town, you have these villagers that are calling you like stupid. They're like, are you stupid? And they mean it. And then you're just sitting there with a video game character being like, are you stupid? Are you? And you're kind of like, well, I No, Bob, you're a purple cat in a video game. Sometimes they clock you through the screen. Like, I don't know. It's a little... It's fun. It's fun. And especially when you compare it to 2 games later, City Folk Villagers, I'm gonna silence. I mean it, okay? I'm being silly, but I also mean it. I just want the villagers to have personality. They don't necessarily need to like be calling me like fat and stupid and really ugly. And like, they're like, your nose is so big and ugly and like, look at it. And I used to get made fun of for my nose and you know, but sometimes I'm just like, wait a minute. Why is Gladys in this video game, this fucking ostrich, being like, look at that beak. Like, what? So fun. Anyway, you literally get a trophy. A trophy of yourself, kind of your species, essentially, and gender, because you have to pick between 2. That's kind of a different video, but that's like just like a con of Animal Crossing. But you literally get a trophy for yourself when you pay off your loan. And if that's not sick as I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Okay? And it's best to be the first person who pays off your loan because then it's like this big gold statue, and then second is like silver, and then third is bronze, and then fourth is green. Jade. Honestly, that one looks like the nicest to me. Most fancy because it's green. What do I know? Clearly nothing. Bob told me I was stupid. He knew it. He looked through that screen and was like, you're the lighthouse event. Need I say more? If you don't know about it, I think it's just like a day in August. Tortimer will be wandering around the lighthouse that's already there, by the way. Swag. And he'll be like, hey, I have to go on vacation for like a week and I need you to turn on the lighthouse every night because like that's like what I do, but you see I'll be going, so like can you help? And you're like, yeah, but you just told me a whole lot of things I didn't know. You turned on the lighthouse? You're going on vacation. And then now I have to do it? You can go in the lighthouse. There's a lot of stuff. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Creates all these questions. And then he's like, okay, starting on Monday or something like that. Doesn't he say that? Or like starting tomorrow? And then you're like left to wonder what the inside of the lighthouse is gonna look like. That's one of my favorite Animal Crossing experiences to this day. I was like buzzing. I could not wait to wake up the next day and see what the inside of the lighthouse looks like. I mean, can you imagine, like, it's a lighthouse? Like, are there stairs like looping up? Is there like, will there be little hints that somebody's like living there? Even that, like the way Animal Crossing sets up mystery and wonder in your head, even as an adult, is delicious, in my opinion. It seems like a lot of my pros for population growing are just like little events that happen, and I'm sitting here thinking about this and I'm like, wait, what do I like about, like, what is it about population growing that's putting it in second place? And ultimately it's that it feels like the town goes on without you in a really good way. Like, it's bittersweet, but it's like, isn't that the message? Like, you move away from home or things that are familiar, or from your family, your parents, move out, go to college, whatever, get your first apartment. It's so like you got your first apartment. Bye. We can all relate to that in some way, of going out on your own or feeling like suddenly out on a limb, like whatever that might be. And it's scary and it's lonely and you want to go home, you get homesick and you just want to go back, and you're like, you know, it's just hard and it's scary, and you're like, what if it's not as good as it was or something? And then you move forward and you go through it and you realize there's always good stuff. There's good stuff everywhere. It's like home is where you are and home is what you make it, and home is always there. Your mom sends you letters, your dad in some of the games. You know, I love that tie-in. I think there could be more. I wish there was more, but I think it's nice enough. I think it gives you just enough of a taste of like, oh my god, I had this like mysterious mom in this game that I don't know. Does my character remember her? Like, you know what I mean? That's why population growing is in second. It's just, there's a je ne sais quoi about it, and I like that. I don't want to keep trying to explain it too much, honestly. And I think there's just like a naivete that went into that game, and it being the first game, that makes it really true to the Animal Crossing message and the experience. I really, really enjoy playing population growing, even despite its cons, which are there. Like, the graphics, honestly, it's kind of a con. I mean, I guess you could consider it. It doesn't really bother me, but yeah, I just really kind of think like the graphics are just kind of old. Like, they're not bad, you know what I mean? It's just, they're just old, and that's not inherently bad. Anyway, so Probably the biggest con, besides the clunky loud controller, is, in my opinion, the acre system. So the map and population growing is sectioned into acres, and you have acre like B3 and D1. The acre you are in is the only acre you can see on the screen, and you can't always see the whole section. The camera moves when you enter a new acre. I have it up on the screen, and maybe you already know, but if you don't, you know, when you hold down the joystick to like move down toward the beach in your game, you just hold it straight down. It feels, I hate it, to be honest. I don't like it. I don't like the scope, just feels really limited. It's really hard to check, like there's like corners of these acres and sections, and like fossils get really hidden. It's visually like tricky. It's abnormal. I've never played another game with a visual like acre system like this, but thank God it's the only game with that. However, it's part of the charm of the game. It's a really unique feature of the game, obviously, but I do think it holds back from the flow a little bit, and you can really get like really stuck in the trees, but that does motivate you to get an axe and cut them down, and it's like you're impacting the town. You know, you can cut the trees down, make a path, kind of tidying up the town a little, or not that it's really dirty, but just you're just making it like more accessible even. Again, that's kind of the thing about population growing, is that everything lends itself to something else, I feel. Yeah, my next con is just like it's basically just what I'm saying, like the controls, the UI, and the lack of quality of life, like sending the fossils away is truly annoying. The unskippable dialogue, like fast forwardable dialogue when you're talking to blathers is excruciating. It's just like, I use it as more of a practice of patience and like taking things slow, which I think is also a message of Animal Crossing and something I really like to use in my gameplay. Sometimes is to be intentionally slow. For example, though, New Horizons really lends itself to the like grindy, like using treasure islands, like, and when I want that vibe, I play New Horizons. I love that vibe sometimes, you know, but when I want to slow down, I play Wild World or Population Growing, and I just think that's so beautiful that, anyway, but you can get grindy in all of them. You can slow down in all of them. It's possible to slow down in New Horizons. Just start the game over. You go to a halt, essentially. Quality of life, yes. So again, I mean, but to be fair, they iron out all of those things into Wild World. Like, it is a pinwheel, is that what, or like rolling pin? It has a rolling pin map, and all the games have that now, and that's more of like a familiar layout of a game, and like the way you experience it, even the way you experience, you know, walking in real life. Like, there's like curvature, and obviously this world is a lot smaller, so you can see the curvature. So yeah, my cons are literally just like the acre style and like that it's clunky, but I wrote so incredibly worth it. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about it, which is I said a lot. Oh, this is about to get so real. Here's me, and promise that we can still be friends after I say what I'm about to say. Here's ding. In last place, the worst Animal Crossing game is New Horizons. No, literally, I said it and I'll say it again. Like, and here's the thing. I can pretty much sum up how I feel about New Horizons, even the pros and the cons, by one sentence. New Horizons is a great game, but it is not a good Animal Crossing game. I think we can all pretty much agree on this. It's fantastic for what it is and for what it aims to be. There are a lot of upgrades and quality of life improvements and really interesting mechanics that were introduced that I think were risky and paid off. So even though that sentence pretty much sums it all up, I'm still gonna get into the pros and cons. Pros of New Horizons are, the most obvious right off the top is it is stunning visually. That's not even arguable in my opinion. Especially the sky, the water, the ocean specifically, even the textures of the NPCs and some of the villagers. I'm drooling over those to this day. Like Bertha. Have you seen Bertha? Like, I want you to touch it. It just cannot be overstated that the devs of this game absolutely nailed it with the production of the game and the quality visually from a UI user experience standpoint as well. Doesn't she look like she'd feel like felt though? Wow. Placing things outside. Placing things outside. Ever since they introduced that, my brain, Bob truly clocked me. I'm stupid, bro. Like, duh. I don't know if I ever thought about it though before like the first time we saw a villager just like plop some shit outside and like put a path down. Revolutionary. It's so simple. Wait, take the pathing out of it for a sec. The putting furniture outside is so simple, yet there's so much there. I think they recognized a part of Animal Crossing that players recognize, but the game wasn't intended for like the designing and different aesthetic building that is possible. I mean, certainly they did consider it with like different house exteriors in New Leaf, for example. I really don't remember what I was saying. I'm so sorry. But I know I was talking about like the pro of putting things outside and how simple. Oh, yeah, great. I thought of it. Excuse me. Right when I thought of it. The people yearn to customize. I mean, what can we say? We want to customize. I love to customize. I mean, what is The Sims if not just like customizing? You know what I mean? It feels so good. Yeah, you couldn't really customize a lot. And before that, I mean, you had very little control over like self-expression. And sometimes the game would punish self-expression, like the paths being treated as trash. And Wild World, if you were on like New Leaf Tumblr or just Animal Crossing Tumblr, but like especially New Leaf Tumblr, was poppin'. I mean, it really was like, I mean, it's still going to this day, really. There was so much community around it and sharing and inspiration, you know, posting pictures of your town, different designs that people had done, different ideas, and then when ways to even more advancedly customize your town, if you know what I mean. Like, people were doing amazing things and they were pushing the limits of the game regardless of help. Anyway, and so, you know, for New Horizons, I think they recognize that and I appreciate it. I think that they were paying attention, but I do think that they overcorrected almost. Overcompensated maybe is the word. I saw a video once where she talked, I'll try to find it, but she was saying how New Horizons, like, they basically made a decision they had like a decision in front of them of like they could be a like story-based character game driven game, or it's like a designing game, and they chose design. Again, I think they did it really well in New Horizons. It's so fun to design things, put furniture outside. You can make deserts. You can basically make it like underwater and use your imagination. It's a beautiful sandbox of a game. I can't gush about that enough. Just that quality and the rejuvenation that has come the social age. And again, I just mean that they really hit the nail on the head and it came back, and they built in these mechanisms that made it easier to connect with others while you're playing and being creative and sharing codes, you know, in like the design app. What they achieved, and like, you know, where they were very unlucky with the console that is the Wii and its release. They also, it feels almost insensitive to say lucky, but the timing worked out well with the onset of a pandemic that resulted in lockdown. And then here's this sandbox game that essentially has no end, is full customization, balls to the wall designing. You can sink a lot of hours into it. I mean, it came out and I lost my job 4 days later from pandemic layoffs. It was right there, and that helped it soar in popularity, and people were so connected on the internet. The influence of that on the popularity of New Horizons, I think, is important to bring to the conversation. Another pro is the 2.0 update that coincided with the release of Happy Home Paradise, you know, all the Happy Home Paradise integrations like counters and pillars and that whole package. The thing is that there's the 2.0 update, and then there's HHP, if you will, Happy Home Paradise. Although the 2.0 update was accessible to all, HHP is a paid DLC. I think it's like $25, but you also have to be subscribed to the monthly subscription that is Nintendo Online. I would say it's worth the price if you have the money and are interested in the game. It's especially worth it considering how much it adds onto New Horizons. It's very complex here, where it's similar to the conversation surrounding the island and the Game Boy Advance and population growing, where that's extra content that is just like more fun and costs money. You have to purchase, or someone has to purchase the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance cable to hook that up to your GameCube that you purchased, but it's not integral to the game. Somebody who doesn't have it is not going to have a lesser experience, essentially. However, if you don't have Happy Home Paradise, I think you could potentially have a lesser experience just because of what it does add and like the features. And I think it plays into like the social aspect and seeing other people having these features that you can't have. It just introduces this class element, kind of like in Club Penguin, where some people have memberships and some don't, and the people without a membership had a lesser experience. I can say that like the game is totally different, like when I had a membership and when I didn't. One is like a playable game and the other is just like embarrassing. Of course, now I don't feel that way. And even at the time I was like, it's just a game, but like there's this element to it, you know? And when you're, especially when you're a kid, you're very aware of hierarchies and differences, which are what make us beautiful. That's right. But we know that now as adults, and we can recognize that in our video games. They're a company, they need to make money, but I don't know. We'll talk about that more some other time, I think. I just want to point out that like I put this update that happened a year and like 8 months after the original release of the game. Mind you, the original release of the game is an incomplete game, point blank, period. Then they release monthly-ish, seasonal-ish, more like seasonal updates for like summer and Halloween, Toy Day, and then festival, etc. And I was like, okay, like I kind of see that from like a point of view of them being a business and like continuing the hype, and even like my experience of it being like, oh, Toy Day's not in the game yet, but they're gonna put it in, like what's it gonna, I don't know. It helped. It did keep that like spirit going, but I think that it was a pacifier. Unfortunately, I would have rather have complete game at the beginning. I was down with the seasonal updates if they had done it like right and like fair. I feel like they could have met us halfway and been like, listen, we know Brewster isn't in the game, we technically don't have the holidays in there, like if you time travel, it's not gonna be there, but like they'll be there. They'll be there. You're not gonna ever have like Christmas come or Christmas season and not have Toy Day. It will be there and then it will continue on. But you know, obviously those updates stopped, and then they said we're also kind of just done with this thing as well. I feel a little bit used and abused on that one, if you will, like chewed and spit out, and it's hard. It's hard not to feel really bitter toward New Horizons. Like I said, it is a good game. It really is. Just on its own, it's fun. The graphics are really beautiful. They're really beautiful. The physics of like wind is a feat. I mean, I know it's in like, there's like more advanced things, I guess, in video game development these days, but I don't know, it's an upgrade for Animal Crossing, and I really appreciate that detail when the fan is oscillating and then it hits the plant and the plant moves. That's so cool and realistic, and I like that like upgraded element to the game. Man, I'd rather the game feel not like this. I don't know what this word is. Disappointing. Okay. We're still talking about the pros, and I'm already like, I'm like down. Like, can you tell? Like, I'm bummed, man. I'm bummed. Stunning items with so many possibilities. I mean, that can't be overstated. The cities that people make, it's just incredible. And I mean, that you could say is like more like the people's creativity, but I think that the elements they gave us this time, especially with the added elements of like terraforming and waterscaping and pathing, and the controls and different mechanisms in house designing now, is like, it's such a treat. It's such an experience. It's beautiful. I love to pull the game up and decorate when that's what I want to do, you know, make this little town and be able to really get in there and change it exactly how I want it. Is really nice, really satisfying. I really like having that in an Animal Crossing game. But this game it's not an Animal Crossing game, although like technically it is, obvious, of course. I think that basically the name is the only thing about it that's Animal Crossing. Everything that follows is kind of this like rude, oh, that feels too harsh, but it just feels like this like like it feels like it was handled by people who didn't understand. The people who made it are fantastic people who are incredibly talented. I mean, again, you can't argue about like the structure and like the feats of game development that these games are. Just making a game as a whole, get yourself an ice cream, like that's huge. Congratulations. And they did something special, but I just mean like, it seems like maybe the people at the top or just the directors of the vibe. Is that a title? I'd like that. Director of vibes? It just almost seems like they didn't get it or they didn't care. It's totally absent of that coming home feeling, the cozy feeling, the familiar, the bittersweet. There ain't nothing bittersweet about New Horizons except that it except that it's a good game, but not an good Animal Crossing game. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like kind of this like almost like poetic paradox here. It's actually disappointing. It is. I love the new KK songs that they added. KK Lovers, I really enjoy and have had playing in my house before. KK Synthwave, I think I really like. I love the choice of time zone. What an element to add. That is the kind of taking out holidays doesn't make it more accessible like to everyone. That just makes it like weird and empty and unlike real life. And although there's like talking animals and that's very much unlike real life, it's still, you know what I mean. I'm getting tired. I don't want to talk about this game anymore, to be honest. I can't wait to talk about the next game. Okay, the sound design, physics, yes. Ooh, the sound design, you ever played with headphones? It's so satisfying. Like when you're playing it handheld, it is gorgeous, gorgeous. Like walking around the museum. They programmed different sounds for different shoes on different elements. Like when you walk across the wooden bridge versus the metal bridge, like they all sound different. All the paths, like the plaza sounds different. It's to the beach, to the edge, you know, that the cliff or the beach edge, that has a different sound to it. The rocks, everything. It's stunning. And it's really cool to see in an Animal Crossing game. It's really cool to see this, to see it in like nice, really upgraded, modern, sleek graphics while still like cartoony. And I'm just so disappointed with New Horizons. I don't even like the promotional materials for it. There's just something, it's just not the same. It's not an Animal Crossing game, I feel. It doesn't, that town stops the split second that I press the minus button to save. And then it starts up again when I like press A, and then it opens 5 minutes later on Isabel telling me the message for the day, if there even is one. I can't. Which makes it, okay, this is what I wrote. Yes, love that point, past Catherine. Which makes it suck and weird that the game isn't better when there was clearly talent behind the game. It fucks with my head a little. Where did they put the effort? They put more effort into other things, it seems like, and then other things fall by the wayside, and it's just like their priorities are clearly not, they're not on the consumer anymore, really. They're more on, yeah, yes, exactly. They're more on. No, okay, well, yes, but anyway, they're a business, but it just felt like we avoided that for a long time or something, even though it's always been Nintendo. I have hope that we can get there again, because I've seen them do it before. I've seen them make a great Animal Crossing game. I know they can do it, and I know they can make a good game. You know what I mean? So, cons. We're gonna get into the cons now, finally. We have so much to talk about here. Cons. Like, I'm sorry, but there is just no charm to this game. That's what I wrote, and that's what I want to say now. Like, I'm sorry, but there is just no charm to this game. I don't get it. At least, not Animal Crossing charm. It might have its own charm. I don't get any charm. I have to be honest. It's not a charming game to me. I'm not charmed, and I want to be by my video game. No charm in my video game. Oh my god. Hi guys. I'm gonna put you a little lower. Put you down there for now. Oh my god. Okay, let's just blast through these. The incredibly long intro / like tutorial period where it played, like, I hated that when it came out, and I hate it now when I restart an island. I don't like it. Again, that's a good way to slow down in the game, start over, feel refreshed. I like starting over in New Horizons. That's my favorite quality of an Animal Crossing game, or my favorite thing to do is to start over and start a new town. I love that. But anyway, it's not as fun in New Horizons because it just takes so long. Even when I time travel and like grind it out, you know, it's very tedious. And this is coming from a person who loves tediousness. Okay, I am Jerry with the envelopes. That's my dream job, essentially. I've been saying that since I was like 3, and my dad would let me lick the envelopes and close them, and the stamp. Wouldn't you lick? You used to lick the stamp. You don't do that anymore. No. Anyway. Oh, so silly brain. Okay. The no hourly music for like 2 weeks. I could cry. My voice cracked. My voice did a little something. Just seriously, I was upset at the time. I was like, again, I just lost my job. There was a pandemic. It was a very weird, confusing time. And then my Animal Crossing game doesn't have hourly music. I kept saying to my partner, like, it's gonna happen, right? There's gonna be hourly music, right? No. Well, there is, but just for so long, it was just the same song 24/7. How is that allowed? Who decided that? And like, are they seriously still thinking that we play this game for 20 minutes a day? Maybe 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night? No one plays it that way. How can you be so out of touch, but so in touch? How can you know that we yearn for customization and you execute that so well and you say, here you go, here you go. You're welcome. And we say, thank you. And then you're like, you can only craft one item at a time. And now there's crafting. I hate this game. I don't even remember what my tangent was, but I'm sure I'll get to it or later in this video or someday. I'm heated. I really actually do like that song that plays 24/7. I like it a lot. It's very soothing. I like when it plays in a Animal Crossing music compilation that I'm listening to, but I don't want to listen to it constantly for a long time. Am I cuckoo crazy? Don't answer that. Am I cuckoo crazy for not wanting to listen to this 3 chord strums over and over 24/7? No, I'm not. And neither are you, okay? So we have to put our foot down with this. We cannot accept no hourly music ever again. Are you with me? I'm with me on that one. And we gotta equip inside. Those are my big things, okay? Write those down. Thank you. Literally demoted from being mayor. Resident rep is a slap in the face. It's a slap in my fucking face. I felt like Tom Nook was spitting on me that day in 2020 when he called me resident representative and was like, wow, you found 6 cherries and 10 tree branches. You can name the town. I felt it was condescending. I love the vibe though, the ambiance with like the fire and then they play music. Like that is something special. Okay, but we're talking about the cons now. This is what we came here for, is it not? How did we go from being the mayor to being the resident representative? Hang on, I'm upset. We could have just been the mayor. He could have just made us the mayor. I just don't understand the downgrade of that whole system and your control over the town and just your role in the town. Like just the idea, the difference between being a mayor and being a resident rep. Don't piss me off. The music, every single song sucks. It's not good. What happened? I hate the instrumentation. I'm sorry. The musicians themselves are very talented and put together what I guess they were told. They're great songs, but they're just not Animal Crossing songs. They don't even suit the hours. I mean, am I crazy? Am I crazy? I told you I'd get a little when the root beer came out. Hang on, I gotta sit up. Oh, yeah, highlights in my opinion would be the 6 p.m. song. I love that one. It has like the accordion. It's very nostalgic. It sounds like other Animal Crossing songs. The tutorial music that we were just talking about, that like drum, whatever, it really is really nice and it suits that part of the game. Like it hits the vibe in my opinion, but not for like 2, maybe even 3 weeks. Like you could be stuck with no hourly music for so long trying to get 3 stars. Oh my God, stop. Oh no, you don't need 3 stars. You just need to upgrade from the tent to the brick and mortar town hall. Oh, phew. Okay, but still, I think it's a week. A week. Anybody know where that's from? Okay. Anyway, last highlight would be the song at the airport in the very, very beginning. When I first started playing the game and that music started playing, I was like, yeah, yeah. And then it went all downhill from there. And there was a tarantula on my first day at my first campfire. The villagers have no personality. It is worse in City Folk. Like, it's worse in City Folk. Especially, it really does suck in New Horizons. I don't know, but it is worse in City Folk. I just have to say that. It's scary. It's liminal in that game. Being restricted to an island sucks. I hate decorating on an island. I don't want to be on the beach. I hate that it's all surrounded by sand. I hate sand. I love the ocean, and sometimes you have to deal with sand to get to the ocean, and that's okay because I love the ocean, and the ocean presumably loves sand, and whatever the ocean loves, I love. Are you following? I don't like beach levels in games. I don't like ocean levels unless it's under the water. Some of the levels in Super Mario Odyssey slapped. Like, that's just not me. I'm not a desert level. That's actually my least favorite, is a desert level. Don't get me started. Next least is like the beach. I don't like the beach. There's sand there. Have you ever met sand? Don't piss me off. Don't get me started. The cat villagers are worse and I don't like them. Kiki, she's scary. Lolly, scary. They're scary, guys. What happened? Teddy, specifically, the bear, he's orange. Not only did they make Bro, a jock, but now in New Horizons, he's orange. I can't even have him in my town because I hate looking at him. He's orange. It hurts my eyes. I don't like New Horizons. I'm so uncomfortable. DIY. Crafting. Not Halloween. But I'm gonna say something scary. Recipe. I know. I won't say it anymore because we'll probably summon something really... something I just can't deal with right now. But maybe I can. I'm kind of like, I'm zooming here. So, I mean, can we all just... I mean, the tools break. Why do the tools break? Tools break. They never did before. Ever. They break. Okay. Now, listen. There's like 3 tiers of tools in this game, okay? There's flimsy, there's just regular schmegula, and then there's gold. Yeah. Flimsy tools breaking. I kind of can get behind that. I can kind of get behind a little bit more of like rags to riches, like having to overcome, or like, I don't know, just like another sort of element that you have to overcome in the game. Oh, my tools are breaking because I have only the flimsy ones. And I gotta work really hard to collect items or to like befriend more people or to upgrade the town so that I can get the regular ones. Well, that is kind of what happens, and then you get the regular ones. But then they break. And I'm like, don't piss me off. And then I'm like, well, I'll work my ass off for some golden tools. Okay, I already told you, we already talked about the Golden Axe trading event in Wild World that I'm gonna make my... This is no different. Give me my golden tools. Golden tools? Break. Anyone else shaking? Why would the golden tools ever? What? Like, riddle me this, riddle that, riddle me that. When I go to heaven, I'm asking 3 questions. 2 of them I already got. Number 1, did Taylor Swift and Carly Kloss kiss? Number 2, why do the golden tools break? It sucks. It hurts. It just does not make sense to me. It does not make sense. You should be able to work toward them, and they should be harder to attain. Even they're already hard to attain, I feel like. No, they're really hard to attain. Maybe they're hard enough. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have them. And I don't need them either. I don't even want them because they'll just break. So what's the point? I'll just buy from the Nooklings. I'm getting a migraine. Let's continue. Oh, by the way, I just noticed, I wrote in bold, even the gold ones. Are you listening? I'm going to pop a blood vessel. I was so worked up even when I just like was, you know, writing these notes and thinking of cons. And I'm really trying not to break a blood vessel, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find peace in my life. But Animal Crossing won't let me have it because they break the golden tools. Why? Okay, so certainly the most quality of life is present in this game of any of the others. Yet so many points of clunkiness remain. And I feel like really take me, at least, out of the flow of the game. I'm looking at you, Nook Miles Redemption Machine, going to Able Sisters. God forbid I go to Able Sisters. Why would you make this whole new system of buying clothes that I think we can all agree is fantastic? I love it. It's preferable trying them on like that. Stop making the poses though. Stop making the poses. Oh my god, I can't. I said I wouldn't get into the nitty-gritty, but I literally could say so many things about New Horizons, but this one confuses me. Why would you create this whole thing, but then I can't buy multiple, and I have to keep going back in? You understand that you also made like some of them have like 10 different swatches. I want every swatch. We've talked about this. okay? We've been here for like 20 years. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business. Well, I am. I'm telling you now. You'll clock it. Also, something that stuns me. Listen up, people. This one's important. I don't hear people talk about it. I find it so incredible that Pocket Camp came out first and yet has better quality of life to the point of luxurious living. But it came out before. It came out before. Like, before. And then I guess it's the limitations of the consoles. I mean, that really does play a lot into this, doesn't it? I'm sure it does, and I'm sure there's a lot else that I don't even know. And I want to hold space for that, but like, why? Some of these things are just so... I can't. But just let that sink in a little. Have you played Pocket Camp? Especially Pocket Camp Complete I'm gonna talk about that someday, but maybe it should be on this list. Maybe. I don't know, but just Pocket Camp is just know that they gave. Okay, they said, baby, I'm the giver, so take it like a taker. Like, that's kind of what Pocket Camp is like nowadays. Pocket Camp Complete. It gets the job done. Yeah. Okay, what else? I hate the colors of Town Hall. Purple and orange. I hate that you can't change it. Like, I love those colors for Halloween. This has completely deflated me. And now I have to like talk about my favorite game, so maybe I'll come up again. But this is like a whole roller coaster. You can't move Town Hall, why not? Just let me move Town Hall. I can make this whole place water. I can make it all earth, fire. But I can't move the Town Hall. I can live on the beach. Also the name, New Horizons. New Leaf, I'm sorry that, I know there's a meme reference here, but I can't think of what it is. But like, I'm sorry that they were mean to you, New Leaf, because they're nasty.
I'm just jealous because all of my friends that know me tell me that I remind them of Beyonce. So you can...
New Leaf wannabe. Get off my girl. That hurt. That hurt when I heard that for the first time. Saw that for the first time. I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna have the balls to do that, it better be good. Would you believe it when I said? Which leads us to the supreme of supremes. In first place, top of the pyramid, if you will, the best Animal Crossing game is New Leaf. It feels like coming home, doesn't it? New Horizons wishes. They hit their effing stride in this game, in New Leaf. This game has everything. Glass, steam, bear traps. Wait, wrong script. Sorry. This game has everything. Public works projects, aka items outside, sound progression, gorgeous soundtrack, perfected grass deterioration. You didn't even think that was possible, did you? I certainly did not. They brought back sneaking when you're holding a net to catch a bug. Thank you. Introduced swimming, pants, dresses as a separate item from shirts, shirts with different sleeve lengths, by golly. Perfect fruit, Main Street, and one thing I really love about New Leaf is how the public works projects and the various game aesthetics that are available, like through house exterior customization, lend themselves to a really flexible game that is malleable to a point that I think the devs were surprised by. I think we all were. I think New Leaf Tumblr really got everything they could out of New Leaf. Probably everything has been done in New Leaf that could even be done. Any theme, any idea, any stretch of the imagination with the available items in the game has probably been created and then posted onto tumblr.com. Pros of New Leaf, besides everything. Isabelle. The introduction of the dog we all know and love, perfect, pleasant Isabelle. She comes bouncing in with her little bell bag head and the little silver bells on it, and she's just so perfect and sprightly and ray of sunshine. So she could only really exist in some sort of perfect world that matches her, you know what I mean? I feel New Leaf does. I feel she's trapped in New Horizons. She is looking out that window yearningly. Free my girl, please. Free Isabelle. Okay, you're the mayor in this game. Have you never been playing Wild World or City Folk, hell, even Population Growing, or Animal Crossing GameCube as some people know it as, and thought, wait a minute, I kind of run this. Shouldn't I be like recognized for that? Wait a minute, I'm kind of the only one with opposable thumbs around here. Kind of like I'm the mayor. Like, I feel like that's a qualifier. No, I don't mean that. A person could definitely have no thumbs or one thumb or three thumbs and successfully hold a mayoral position, I believe. Thank you. Thanks so much. There's so much mascara in my eyes and smudges on my glasses, and it's driving me up the wall. Well, anyway, New Leaf heard that and was like, true, too true. What if you were the mayor? What if it was just forced upon you? They couldn't think of any other way. But yeah, you arrive in town and you're like, what? And Isabel's just like, yeah. And I mean, you're gonna say no to her? Like, no. So genius move. Then you're the mayor. And it's totally dope and lit and amazing. And you are like, this feels right. You know what I mean? And then in the next game, they call you a resident representative. Piss me off. Don't. The graphics of this game. Sorry, got a little excited. The color palette. It's perfectly pixelated in my opinion. The soundtrack. 5 p.m. alone. Bushes, the island, the roost. It has its own building that you can place wherever you want, and you can never move it again, but you can put it wherever you want for one time, once. That's fun. No pressure. Recent Iris with retail. Absolutely stellar shop, in my opinion. The events in this game are perfectly fleshed out in my opinion and very satisfying to complete. Again, I'm being very vague, but I can go into more detail and plan to in the future. Easier-ish breeding system with the flowers. I enjoy it. It takes a while and I appreciate it and I like it. You know, feels like it's appropriately difficult. It's appropriately challenging. The island. I mentioned it already, but like the bug catching there, making money through bug catching on the island is so fun. And I love that. I feel like the devs, I don't know that they did that on purpose, you know? I don't think they thought that we would go like farming the rare beetles. Do you think so? I don't really think so. I don't know that they were planning on that being a money grind. I feel like we kind of discovered that. The daytime is not as lucrative. It is, I guess, and there's a lot of like rare stuff and exclusive to the island stuff that if you're a completionist or you just want to finish the museum at least or catch all the fish. Anyway, going on island tours, seeing all the different ones, shout out hide and seek. That's my favorite one. It's goated. I feel that's the one I always do. You don't always have it as an option, which I resent deeply and furiously, but it's there and I like knowing it's at least there. There's other fun ones too, but there's some that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole. Thank you for asking. The hairstyles are really good in this game. I think they suit the character really well. They totally smashed it out of the park. Some of the wigs are more questionable. The salon haircuts are really nice. Shout out the one with the like bangs bump situation. That is stunning in New Leaf and disgusting in New Horizons. Speak internet. That would be hard to understand if you didn't speak internet though. I understand. Great UI, fun to play with friends, go to the island. You don't even have to go to the island, just have fun, but being able to like have a other place to go is cool. And with the tours, like it's just so interactive and you could get like hours of fun out of that. Just really great like sleepover vibes even. You used to be able to play online, so you could even have like, I never did, you know, long distance friendship, New Leaf dates. How nice is that? There is so much to do always in this game, in my opinion, if you want there to be. You can also just do the dailies. It suits that kind of playstyle well, in my opinion. I used to play this game like a full-time job. Like I said, from when I woke up, well, from after breakfast until basically I fell asleep playing it at night. New Leaf also had a major update similar to New Horizons. The major update was much later actually than the original release compared to the update for New Horizons. It was released much closer, even though it was a year and 8 months. Still closer than, anyway. Are you following? Literally, Godspeed to you. New Leaf's big update just made it even better. It just added all this stuff that anyone could get and update their game. Now you have all these new features, brand new furniture, new villagers that weren't already in the game and hadn't been seen since like GameCube. incredible addition. And I remember when that came out and I had so much hope for Animal Crossing, and like it just felt really good. It was like a really good place to be in, especially with like, it had been a little bit of a drought, but I don't feel like it was well timed, I'll say. It was well timed, and it was a good time to be an Animal Crossing fan. New Leaf's update it just made it better, like a soulmate. Animal Crossing New Leaf base game and ACNL Welcome Amiibo are soulmates. Cons of New Leaf. Shall we talk about the cons of New Leaf? I have 2 bullet points. 2. Number 1, getting public works project. You saw the second I realized what it was, I was like, oh no, that's a really big con. Getting public works project requests from villagers is next to impossible if you're unwilling to do the diving pocket full of flowers trick, which you should be. You should be unwilling to do that. You should be able to get them easier. And if you don't have every villager personality type, well, you miss out on a whole section, a whole grouping of public works projects that only smug villagers can give you, only Uchi villagers can give you. Then they might not even give it to you if you do have that. You might not get the project that you want. You might get an Uggo one. It's stressful. That's why there's advanced ways to get them all. Next, the limited pocket space feels really outdated for this game. The pocket, whenever I open it, and especially when I haven't played the game in a while and I open the pockets, like, I feel like it has the same or maybe even fewer than population growing, but I'm not positive, and I don't really know off the top of my head. I think it has 15. That feels like it's probably more than population growing, just off the top of my head, just trying to see it in my head. But anyway, so those are my cons. For one moment now, while I'm here live recording, I'm going to think for a moment genuinely about more cons for New Leaf. Takes a really long time to get Katrina, especially if you only have 1 villager. It could take like a year. Concerning. You can't equip or unequip inside. If I'm being honest, the 9 a.m. song can really get on my nerves. Oh, okay. One thing, I guess, even though they did introduce swimming and diving and sea creatures, mechanic is very annoying and very difficult. Turning in a circle, like, honestly, forget it. It's gonna take minutes and the thing is gone already. I hate when they go just over the line of where you can go and it just taunts you. It just sits there, the shadow. Just sits right where you can't get it. And they did fix that in New Horizons. Shout out. It's much less annoying to go deep sea diving in New Horizons. It's still pretty tedious, I feel like. I mean, it's a cool feature. New Leaf deep sea diving is, oof, I think my brain's starting to turn to mush at this point. Holy cow. Well, there you have it. An Animal Crossing expert's opinions on how the main Animal Crossing titles stack up against each other. What are your thoughts? How would you rank them? Essentially, I ranked them from most effective Animal Crossing game to least effective, if you will. I think New Leaf really takes all the elements and executes them pretty much perfectly. It's a gorgeous game. It's so cozy. It feels like coming home. It feels like the town goes on without you. And its update only made it better. And it was already complete and totally fine. They just decided to make it even better, you know what I mean? And put all this other gameplay into it, which really injected new life into it. And I think New Horizons update did that for it as well, but petered out pretty quick. Of course, my rating of my favorite games and which one I like the most to which one I like the least, I think that list might be different. Let me know if you want to see that, like just a more subjective list. Let me know yours, what's your like objective list and your subjective list. I'm thinking about doing deep dives on each title, getting more into that nitty-gritty stuff about what I really like and dislike about each game, or any other Animal Crossing opinions of mine you'd like to hear. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, give the video a like if you liked it and want to see more. Don't forget to check out my Instagram. I'm active there a lot, especially on stories. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.